Russia's invasion of Ukraine in February 2022 revived the European Union's enlargement process, demonstrating the urgency of competing with Russia by filling geopolitical vacuums along Europe's periphery. Since then, the European Union has abandoned its former strategic ambiguity toward its eastern neighborhood, opening accession negotiations with Ukraine and Moldova, as well as granting EU candidate status to Georgia. This new momentum toward enlargement has also spilled over into the Western Balkans, where North Macedonia and Albania have begun accession negotiations, and Bosnia and Herzegovina has received candidate status. Further EU enlargement would bring benefits not only to Europe, but also to the United States. History has demonstrated EU enlargement's unique ability to promote stability, prosperity, and democracy on the European continent, which the United States has long viewed as key to furthering its own interests. In addition to contributing to Washington's vision of a Europe whole, free, and at peace, anchoring Eastern Europe and the Western Balkans firmly in the European Union would help the United States to push back against the efforts of Russia and China to weaken the West. Finally, successful enlargement would strengthen the European Union as Washington's partner of first resort, allowing the United States to lean more heavily on transatlantic cooperation in navigating an increasingly complex geopolitical environment. However, the obstacles to enlargement are daunting. Significant questions remain about the readiness of candidate countries to make the reforms required for membership, and there's a particularly serious risk that their political will to do so will fade if the European Union fails to provide a credible path forward. Despite the recent string of new EU commitments on enlargement, making real progress will require moving from largely symbolic gestures to concrete action, including on efforts to reform the internal functioning of the European Union so that it's able to integrate new members in the coming years. Finally, the ongoing war in Ukraine looms over the entire discussion, creating massive uncertainty about the timeline for and the nature of Kyiv's future EU membership. Given the benefits of EU enlargement to the United States, Washington should do all it can to support the process and ensure its success. This is going to require a full spectrum strategy resting on two main pillars. The first of these pillars should be offering strong support to those seeking to join the European Union, including political, economic, and security assistance. The second pillar should be a diplomatic initiative aimed at sustaining support for enlargement within the European Union, including by encouraging the bloc to move forward on its internal reform agenda. U.S. policymakers need to recognize that although Washington might not be directly involved in the EU enlargement process, the United States nonetheless has a significant stake in enlargement success. Given the potentially fleeting nature of political momentum toward enlargement, it's key to strike while the iron is hot.